Hello, beautiful Earth Angels. Welcome to Team Joanna. My name is Joanna. If you are a water sign, or any other sign for that matter, but if you're a water sign, these messages in particular may resonate with you. So what I'll do is I'll do the overall general message or overall energies for the water element first, and I will do each individual sign later. Please don't skip the overall message, because the overall message is much more potent and much more, it's got more information. The individual messages are like a little bit like an icing on top, and they go together. So do yourself a favor and listen to both. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Thank you for your time and energy, and I do hope you stay. If you like what you hear, then I would love for you to click on the subscribe button and the notification button. It tells you when I upload new information, and it also tells other people that there is something worthwhile listening to. And my intention is always to be of assistance to you in helping you recognize your own significance. That is really what my job is. It is to remind you who you are not. You are not your thoughts, you're not your insecurities, you're not your weaknesses, you're none of those things. And helping you remember that makes you ultimately less susceptible to identify with your weaknesses and failures and insecurities. Okay, so that is ultimately my goal. All the information that I receive is aimed at giving you that at the end of the day. And if you get something from this channel that allows you to think, shift how you perceive things in your life, shift how you perceive yourself, which will ultimately shift your entire life. If I can give you a little bit of that, that is ultimately my goal. And I thank you for being here. If you would like to be part of a private members page, I have a private members page on Facebook where there's only you can only come in if you are allowed to enter, and it's a whole bunch of people. I think it's over 5,600 now, where a whole bunch of people get together and talk about various things in a very supportive, compassionate, and loving ways. So if you would like to be part of Team Joanna, that link is below. I also do short messages on Instagram, Joanna the Healer. So if you would like to see more messages like that, but shorter, you can find me on Instagram. Is there anything else? Okay, if you would like to have a session with me to help you maneuver through your life, then that information is down below. You guys are very intelligent. You know how to find me. Without further ado, let's go into this month's energy. And I feel this month's energy is very creative. Not just necessarily because you're a water sign, but overall it feels very creative. The month of September also feels very influential to me. And I've said it on all the other elements, that month of September has been shown to me for quite a while as a very significant month. And it's always shown to me with an exclamation mark. So that tells me there is something important about the month of September. You know, different. It's the overall energy that I'm tapping into. So whatever this is, it's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. And there is an element of surprise in it for you. And let's just hope they're positive surprises. And I do feel, for the most part, that these surprises end up leading us in a positive direction. So whatever the surprise is, I actually think I said the words cat out of the bag in one of the other elements. So there's an element of surprise. There's something coming to light, okay, globally. And the same with you individually. You might see or realize something about yourself or your world or the world in general, as a matter of fact. And that awareness, that realization, that surprise, that knowing will open new doors for you, or will present new pathways for you. So it's a very interesting month. Of course, it's not just for September. I feel this is going to continue for the rest of the year and then some. But this is what's coming up right now. So I'm going to talk about it with you. So if this makes no sense to you when you listen to it again down the road, because chances are it's going to make sense to you. When I tuned into the water element, one of the first things that I was shown is the idea of separation. So separating ourselves or separating things and then putting them back together, but in a different way. And it feels like something is coming apart in order for it to be put back together again in a more cohesive and nurturing and foundationally stronger ways. So that sounds to me like a big ass energy that's global, but obviously that energy doesn't pick and choose. It affects everyone. So this will affect you in some way in your life, moving forward in some way, shape, or form. If you're listening to this, you know that we are in the midst of change. As a matter of fact, the card of change actually showed up. So, good confirmation. So let's see what happens in the month of September and going forward. I do feel a lot of exciting energy. I do feel a bit of nervous energy. And the nervousness predominantly is because we are entering into a new territory, a territory we have not been to before. So the level of trust might feel a little bit, our trust might feel a little bit hindered. We may be focusing too much attention on the negative possibility or of something going wrong or drama. We have a tendency to do that. But overall, I feel that the movement is very positive. Thought-provoking. Okay, thank you. So this movement is asking us or requiring us to shift our perception. And again, as a result of shifting perception, our consciousness shifts and our entire existence shifts. So if you are listening to this, you are part of this dynamic, tremendous growth and change. So congratulations to you. And you may be feeling it in your body. I know I have. I've been talking about it for a while. And right now, I experience it as massive. I'll say it again, the word massive resistance. And resistance is very indicative of change. So if you're experiencing resistance, that's why. But anyway, something in your life is coming apart in order to be put back together. You may also be rethinking or reshuffling your priorities or how you do things or how things are structured in your life. Because there's a change and there is movement. And I almost want to say there's a movement of priorities being indicated. So if I was to explain it further, the movement of priorities tells me that your priorities are shifting, and therefore what you prioritize in your life or who you prioritize in your life is shifting as well. And that may make some people very unhappy. So if you are used to always focusing on somebody else but not yourself, and you've been neglecting yourself, and you decide that now you're going to put yourself first and everybody else after that, the people that you used to help with or carry may not like you focusing on yourself, because it leaves them with their own stuff. So that's the kind of change we're talking about. And this message is actually very appropriate for the card that came up, which took me a little bit to tune into it. So the card is assistance without interference. I tuned into this vision, and what I got more than anything is this card shows me a person who is very much involved with other people's problems, but that involvement is at an expense of the person ignoring their own needs and their own responsibilities. So if you are someone who is focused on fixing other people, helping other people, making sure that other people are great, but it is actually deflecting from what you need to focus on, then I feel this energy is going to help you bring that to your awareness. Because if that is how you live, then that needs to stop. It does not mean that you get to stop helping other people. Not at all. What it means is that you stop putting other people first and yourself last. And that can prove to be very difficult for the pleaser types. I have some of that in my genes, and so I have to work with it. I'm much better than I used to be. But ultimately, for me personally, and you may resonate with this as well, focusing on other people stemmed from me feeling lack of self-worth. Okay? So notice, if you feel lack of self-worth, notice if you don't overcompensate that by being overly helpful to other people, because that's often how you get value, how you gain your significance. You're significant already. Sorry to burst your bubble, but you're significant already. So if you're on a constant lookout to prove yourself and to prove your value, and some of that proving is through being helpful to other people, then the fuel that really drives your behavior is lack and fear. And that fuel will not serve us where we're going. Okay? So this is, if you're listening to this may make sense to you right away, or you might have to think about it, or you may actually not resonate with it at all, which is absolutely fine. Okay? We all do things to avoid doing certain things. It's just how we are. There's nothing wrong with it per se. But if we are avoiding or neglecting what we need to deal with in order for us to move forward, to be happier, stronger, more evolved, then we can't keep on ignoring that and focusing on other things or other people. Okay? Always put yourself first. I hate to tell you, always put yourself first. You're here in this physical body for you. Yes, other people benefit from you. Absolutely, yes. But you're here for you, for your own evolvement of your soul. Okay? You need to own that. You need to own that. So you are your responsibility first. Again, I'm not saying ditch your other responsibilities. I'm not saying that. But you have to put yourself first. Okay? The image I had in my mind was emptying emotionally. So as we are evolving and changing, and this is happening fairly fast, we're like on a train that's speeding up gazillion miles an hour, which ultimately, by the way, may some of you feel like you are not in control. It's a very fairly normal feeling these days from what I observe. I have that feeling as well. I think it's just these energies around control are coming up to the surface to be addressed. But as we're shifting and changing very rapidly, we are dropping density. We are dropping heavy weight, dead weight. Don't be surprised if over the next little while, 6 months or so, don't be surprised if you end up losing weight as a result of emotionally leaving things behind. Because often what happens, and I've seen this even in my healing work, we often hold on to physical weight as a way of protecting ourselves or things we're holding on from the past. Okay? And I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen with myself. I used to be fairly overweight. Food was my drug of choice, if you will. Not unfamiliar. Pretty standard stuff. But I did use food, and I still do to some extent, as a way of self-medicating. And we know that that is not great. So the moment I began to learn how to accept and love myself, my body, let's put it this way, I was fighting my body a lot less, and therefore my body began to work with me a lot more. So for some of you, this is a time where you need to look at your relationship you have with food and the relationship you have with your body. And if you have difficulties, then you might want to look, if you have difficulties in that area or any other area for that matter, if you use something that ultimately hinders your growth and hinders your amazement, then you might want to talk to somebody. And here's why. Here's why it's so important right now. Because the energy right now is very supportive of us lifting ourselves from those heavy energies, or lifting these heavy energies and transforming them. The timing is critical. And I've had this message come to me in various different ways and various different videos. And it's consistent. And it's not just me. I've been hearing this message on other YouTube channels, so it's supporting what I get. So if you have been dealing with issues around food, addictions, body dysmorphia, anything like that that hinders your growth and hinders your amazement and your uniqueness and your divinity, chances are that over the next little while, and this is an extended period of time, but over the next little while, you stand a great chance in overcoming these addictions. Okay? You may have an addiction to work. You may be a workaholic, in which case you need to resolve the inner conflict that makes you be a workaholic. In other words, what are you hiding from? What are you running from? Why are you using your work to not deal with whatever it is you need to deal with? And because we are learning how to resolve inner conflict, and when we resolve inner conflict, it ultimately frees our energy to create more for ourselves. The timing of it becomes very, very important, which leads me to my next message. Several messages with this card. Some of you are mentors to other people, okay? If you are a mentor to others, or if you are thinking of being a mentor, or if you are in a position of counseling others or anything like that, be very mindful of your own projections. Be very mindful of your own projections. I've had situations in my life where seemingly qualified professionals projected their shit onto me and they did not even know it, and I was floored. Okay, so this is a message for someone. We project stuff all the time. Not saying that there's something wrong with it, but at a certain point, we need to understand ourselves deeply so that our stuff doesn't end up hindering what we are trying to do for other people. So it is important to know yourself. If you're in a position to help others, if you are a mentor, wanting to be a mentor, then it's important for you to know your stuff. Not because you're supposed to be stuff free. No. Just know your stuff so your stuff does not control you. So your stuff doesn't cloud what you see. Okay? Because your stuff has biases. You don't want to project your biases onto your client or the person you're trying to help. And that is very hard to do. And it's hard to do because in order to not project, you really have to know yourself. And that's why I make it my priority to know myself. I am relentless about digging deep, but it's also my passion. So when I'm talking to a client and a client is experiencing something I have experienced, so it doesn't trigger me. Or if I do get triggered, I recognize the trigger and I keep it aside. I don't let that trigger taint my work. And that takes commitment. I'm saying this to some of you because you need to hear it. Okay? For others of you, this is an important time where you might want to seek someone like a mentor, someone who can show you a way. The way I deal with my clients is, and the way my team deals with my clients, it is very, very, very rare for my team to tell my client what to do. It has to be like a really almost dangerous situations where it's like, you got to do this. 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, that's not how it works. How it works is the information I will give a client will help the client look exactly where they need to look in order to find their own answer. That is what I do, and that is what ultimately you want someone to help you do. Not to tell you what to do, because then you are accepting their truth as your own, and you may not agree with that. Okay? Someone who knows what they're doing will help you recognize your own truth and find your own answers. For some of you, you're tired of seeking help. You're tired of seeking help. So if you're tired of seeking help, it means to me, you're seeking help, but whatever help you're getting is not helping you. So if you're getting help, but it's not helping you, then what's the problem? Is it that the help isn't helpful, or is it that you are not taking the information seriously and actually actioning it in your life? That's when it's going to become helpful. Example, we can read a million books that has incredible information that can absolutely change our entire lives. Unless we put that information into our life and action it, it just remains an information, not really helpful. I mean, yes, it's helpful to know it, but it's not changing your life experience. So if you are one of those people that's tired of seeking help, maybe stop seeking help. And if you've been seeking help for so long and nothing is helping you, then you got to look at that. There's something there that's missing. Okay? And as I mentioned before, we are in a time of change. Change is often created by looking within, by looking inside. Of course, looking outside as well, but internal change, personal change, often involves looking within, looking deep within. Because we are in tremendous times of change, looking within not only becomes necessary, it oftentimes becomes a priority. Because, for example, if you don't know yourself, you don't know what you want. So it makes no sense for you to looking for something when you don't know what that something is. Okay? By looking inside, we gain more clarity. Okay? If you are going through a change, your life is in change. And quite frankly, if you live on this earth, if you live on Mother Gaia right now, and if you're listening to it, you are, there is some change. It may be very small in your life, and it may be very big in your life as a result of everything that's happening. My change as Joanna is the way I do my work. I know it's about to drastically shift in the way I express my gift. And that scares me. Why does it scare me? Because it's the unknown. Okay. Why am I scared of the unknown? Well, because there's an issue with trusting myself. So if trust comes up, where you're not feeling it, when you're not feeling like you can trust, or you're having difficulty trusting and there's a lot of doubt, it's often a very good indicator that you are in a time of change. Okay? And there is something brand new just around the corner. Okay? As a matter of fact, I have a card to prove it. So this is a card that's called Between Two Worlds, or Between Worlds. New Directions. This is where a lot of us are swimming. Okay? The turtle symbology for me means inner safety, feeling inside, at home, feeling home within, feeling a sense of belonging, knowing where you belong. This is showing me that we are looking, trying to figure out where we belong. What's our sense of purpose? What's our purpose? We're trying to figure that out. We're in between stage. And in between stage can feel very alarming because it doesn't have a firm footing. Okay? Think about when you are moving homes and you're between two homes. Just imagine being between two homes. It's not a very comfortable place to be. For some, it's scary. For some, the not knowing is scary. Okay? Nonetheless, this is where we are. Okay? The color yellow, obviously you can't bypass the color yellow and orange. So to me, it indicates challenges in your sacral and solar plexus. So sacral chakra, to me, often indicates challenges with trust. Trusting yourself, trusting the universe, trusting the path, trusting the flow, trusting, you get the picture. Okay? We're in a very vulnerable space right now. We're in a very vulnerable space. And it's not a bad thing, but we are in a very vulnerable space. Okay? The solar plexus is all about the will. It's our power. For many of us, we are still searching our power. We're not quite sure what our power means. What does it mean to be in my own power? I'll tell you what it feels like. When I first felt it, and by the way, when I say I felt it, I was told that I was feeling a minute percentage of my power, because feeling my full power embodied would blow up my body to a gazillion pieces. It's electricity. My body is not designed to handle that. Neither is yours. But even with a tiny percentage, I'll tell you what it felt like. It freaked me out. It scared the shit out of me. Because everything I have known up until that moment went to shreds, went to shits, went to a gazillion pieces. My ego in that moment was having a big challenge, because everything it has been attached to in terms of worth and my bigness or smallness, it went down the shits. And I became scared. I became scared of my own power. I'll never forget that feeling. And I remember them saying to me, this is what they say when they tell you you're afraid of your own power. It's effing scary. Because it's so big. And that's what it feels like. So, to feel even minute percentage of that, it's quite astonishing. It is not, it's not a very, I don't have the words to describe it in a human way, because it's something one has to experience, because it's not a human thing almost. Okay. So we are all essentially searching our own power. Okay. We're all searching our own power. Some of you are holding yourself back. Why are you holding yourself back? A, are you holding yourself back? If so, how are you holding yourself back? And also, why do you hold yourself back? What does holding yourself back give you? Does it give you a sense of safety? Maybe. Ultimately, there's a brand new beginning. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Okay? We are at the end of cycles and starting new cycles. Okay? So, new beginnings are inevitable. If you are listening to this, there is a new beginning happening for you. No question about it. How it shows up in your life is going to be different to different people. Resisting it is a futile process. Okay? Resisting it simply means the ego is afraid. It's okay to be afraid. It is okay to be afraid. It is okay to be afraid. Don't let your fear take away your power, even though fear is very powerful. Okay? The crow is a very interesting symbol to me. First of all, it's very psychic to me. It's all about the air element. It's about the thoughts. So some of you are quite psychic. In particular, I hear the word clairvoyant. I believe that's clairvoyant vision. Clairvoyant is vision or hearing, one of those two. Okay. And whatever psychic ability you have, chances are if you're watching this, you've noticed it amplifying. If you haven't yet, you will begin to feel it amplified. Now, you may not know what to do with this gift. That's okay. Just know it there. Know it's there. Recognize that it's there and just almost like leave it on the shelf for now. It'll eventually come to you how this gift will be of benefit to others if you choose to use it for the benefit of others. Okay? And that message can be interpreted in various different ways, but I feel like that's how I need to leave it. There's something very psychic about this card. Okay? I just heard, believe in your world and then you will create it. So in order to create something in your world, you first have to believe in it. Okay? Believe in the impossible and make the impossible possible for you. That's a big message. Okay? Open intuition. What does it say on the bottom? Seek clarification. So the seek clarification sentence talks to me about possibly seeking some guidance that may ultimately help you on your path, on your own path. Okay? For some of you, it's just you are seeking clarification because you are unsure. You are unsure because, well, you're in between two worlds, in between worlds. It's okay to be unsure. It doesn't feel good to be unsure, but it is okay to be unsure. That unsureness will not last forever. Okay? Another way I want to say it is be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's hard, to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Okay? For others of you, the message is be open to things you cannot see, or receiving guidance from sources you cannot see. Okay? Some of you looking at this card, I just hear the words energy healers. Some of you are energy healers, and you intuitively know how to guide this energy. Some of you listening to this are, there's a connection to cats here. Cats, whether it's a tiger, whether it's a lioness, lion, cats. I see cat. There's a cat. Something about a cat. Okay? For some of you, you are ancient healers. Whatever that means to you, you are ancient healers, which means your healing abilities are ancient. You've had them for a very, 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 very long time. So this quick shift of energy for some of you will illuminate some of those ancient gifts. These gifts will become apparent or visible to you. Okay? For some of you, you have been told you have gifts, but whoever said this to you kind of said, I don't know what you're talking about. In time, you'll find out what that is for you. So give it time. Okay? Is there anything else for the water element? A lot of this here is us recognizing our own value. So if you're someone who is seeking, if you're constantly seeking something, what is it that you're seeking? What is it that you're seeking? And have you accepted your own value? A lot of it is about acceptance, self-recognition, self-love, all that stuff. I mean, yes, of course, makes perfect sense. We're moving into the 5D energy, which is all about the open heart. It's all about heart. Mind, yes, too, but it's about the heart. Okay? So, let me go through individual messages for each sign. Let me just grab the cards. All right. Okay, I'll use different cards. So, for the sign of Cancer, if you're a Cancer sign, the message is keep going. You're too far into it already. Keep going. Obviously, if you are in a situation where something is obviously not serving you, I don't care how much you're into it, get out. So that's obviously not what I'm talking about. But some of you are in a process that's emotionally hard work, and this process takes you from point A to point B, except it's not a geographical location, it's within. The message is keep going. You're too far into it. So some of you may be thinking of backing out of a plan or something you're involved with. Okay, so that message is not going to be for everybody, but it is important, because whoever you are needing to hear this, it's words of encouragement. So whatever you're doing, you might finding it really tough, or you might be thinking you got yourself in too deep. I just see you pulling through it. Whatever that is for you, you're You're closer to whatever that is at the end than you think. Number one. And number two, I also want to say there is no point going back, because what you're going back to is essentially the same that thing that you left. So you're going to be back at square one. So this is going to mean something to you. Okay. Thank you. I'm seeing the image of two people cheering. There's a connection. There is, for some of you, it almost feels like an emotional contract you have with somebody. And I'm going to use the words emotional contract. And that could be a relationship, it could be work relationship, it could be a certain situation you connect with, and it gives you emotional sustenance. It's Two of Cups. Two of Cups generally means love, but I don't mean it just in that way. But there is some sort of a commitment. So if you're working really hard and you're thinking you're getting yourself in too deep, or you're really deep in, there is a reward at the end of that road. So I don't know who I'm talking to, but this really message really wants to come through. Okay. Is there something else? I see some of you wanting to try new things, but you're a little bit too afraid to step out of on the edge. You're a little bit timid. What I want to say is, have more trust in yourself than this. Trust yourself more. Trust yourself more. So some of you Cancerians are stepping outside of your comfort zones, and you're really wanting to play it safe. Of course, you're not going to do anything that is not safe, knowingly, but you're really wanting to play it safe. So whatever this thing is, think of it in terms of risk and reward. Oftentimes, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Although I always say, make calculated risks, or take calculated risks. Okay, so for some of you, it's about taking risks. And that's because some of you are saying, no more, no more, no more. I'm done with this. I'm fried, I'm tired, I'm cooked, whatever. No more, no more. You're just saying no more. And I feel you've said this no more before, but it's like you kept going back. And this time it's like, no more. So if this is you, if you're a sign of Cancer, or actually other sign, but if this resonates with you and you've been asking for feedback, then that's a message for you. Okay? See if it resonates and just leave it there. Be responsible for your choices. Now, why would I need to say to you to be responsible for your choices? Don't make someone else responsible for your choices. Don't let someone else choose for you unless you absolutely have to. Okay? Unless you absolutely have to. So that's going to resonate with somebody as well. Okay? The word is choose. Choose, which means there is more than one option for some of you. It's more than one option. Is there anything else for Cancerians? So for some signs, I don't get cards. I just get visuals, but I'm okay with it. I'm learning how to be okay with it. I'm just learning how to trust myself. Okay. Is there anything else? No, we're moving on to the sign of Scorpio. If you're a sign of Scorpio, you might have been experiencing being in and out, in and out, in and out of situations. So there is some indecisiveness that either has been going on, is going on, or will be going on. The indecisiveness is about, should I leave? Should I stay? Should I leave? Should I stay? If you are questioning this and you are in a situation where you either want to leave or stay, if that applies to you, I feel like you won't know for a while. So it's best you ride it out as best as you can so that you don't make premature decisions that later on you will regret. So if you don't have a firm knowing whether you should stay or whether you should go, then be in that space until you have some clarity. And when I say for a while, I'm not talking years. But I want to say for some of you, by mid of next year, you'll know. So clearly this is something that's not going to happen overnight. So this is either a situation, a relationship, or a job situation, or yes, some sort of a situation you're connected to. It feels both personal and work related, so it could be either or. So if you're a Scorpio, you might be struggling with some sort of indecisiveness, okay? And I feel like you're swimming in circles in your mind, like you're swimming in circles. You are undecisive because you're not expecting more for yourself. You are undecisive because you are not expecting more for yourself, which tells me if your expectation of the world was higher, you might have your answer very quickly. So that's going to be a message for some of you. For others of you, the message I see is you are playing chess. And I don't know how to play chess. I do know that it requires a lot of thought and be very, like it's, you know, logic, calculations. So you might be dealing with a situation where you are one of the players in a chess game. And of course, chess game is a metaphor. I'm going to take the metaphor as something that's important to you. Okay? I've never gotten a chess game as a metaphor, so I'm actually trying to feel into it. This situation that you are involved in requires a lot of thought. And you don't want to make any uncalculated moves, which means you don't want to make choices or moves based on your emotional triggers only. So that's going to be a message for some of you. That's a very important message. Okay. I'm seeing two images in my mind, and I'm seeing Queen of Coins and Queen of Water. To me, it is all about emotional and physical independence. Being independent emotionally and in the physical life. So if you are an independent person, you are not codependent. So some of you are dealing with codependency issues or challenges, I should say. And the goal is for you to become emotionally and just otherwise independent. It does not mean you will not have people to depend on, but you will not be needy. So if you've been in the past needy, I feel you are coming more to balance. Okay? And that is a really, really good thing. That's a really good thing. That's very, being needy can be very disorienting, particularly when the thing or person you are relying on, you're needing, is all over the place. Okay? Because that's a huge, massive instability. Okay? Is there anything else for Scorpios? So when it comes to codependence, if you've had challenges with codependence in your life, and that's either emotionally or you're financially codependent, I feel that many of you are closing the door, and for some of you it's a karmic door. So this codependence has been something that you've been dealing with for many lifetimes. Okay? And closing door on a karmic cycle is a big deal. So congratulations to you. Anything else for Scorpio? what I'm seeing is you're right smack at crossroads, but you're about to take a step forward. So for some of you, if you are at crossroads, you are about to take a step forward. So either life will decide for you and push you, or you will decide and make things happen. Okay, it feels very near. So November-ish. For some of you, this will make sense in November. Okay, and I'm moving on to Pisces. Again, I'm seeing the word completion. I also see untapped potential. And this untapped potential is attached to the word inferiority. For you, for those of you who have felt inferior, that inferiority is, well, not allowing you to be your full potential. And I feel you will begin to, what's the word I want to use, please? You will begin to identify yourself as an inferior person less and less. So to me, that is a big sign. That is a huge sign. It's a huge positive sign. And your inferiority is your vulnerability. Okay? You're only inferior in your thoughts about you. You are not inferior. You're only inferior in your thoughts about you. But here's a good thing. You can change your thoughts. So if your inferiority is all about what you think, then logic tells me that changing what you think will shift you from being an inferior person. But that's pretty straightforward, right? If you're Pisces, I feel that all of a sudden things are starting to make more sense to you. Things that have made sense to you already begin to make even more sense to you now. And you're like, wow. And for you, perhaps, that's what's being revealed. The big reveal is you're beginning to understand things so much deeper and so much more. And ultimately, that deep understanding is what gets you out of this inferior box. So get ready for some things to be revealed to you. I'm just actually looking, look at the Ace of Cups. How beautiful is that? A new beginning, a new emotional beginning. Yes. Yes. Some of you are saying, not now, later, not now, later, not now, later. Something you're not wanting to deal with and you're trying to push it into dealing with it later. Why not now? So whatever that is for you, if you're not wanting to deal with something now, why not now? Why not now? If it's in your space, if it's in your face, if it's looking at you and saying, hi, I'm here, why not now? Okay. Remember, we are in between. And the energy is very supportive in helping us solidify or build a stronger ground, stronger foundation. So this thing that you are not wanting to face, perhaps that thing is what's eroding your foundation. Therefore, if it's eroding your foundation, it does not add to you feeling stable, you might as well address it. Okay? Because who doesn't want to feel stable? I don't know a person who says, I want to feel unstable. That feels great. Yes, sometimes we do things like that and we pay for it, but it's very limited and we have control how much we want to feel that, and we're going back to feeling our old way. So, anything else for Pisces? There is a bit of confusion that I feel, not knowing which way to go. So that's again the proverbial crossroad, and I'm getting a feeling in my throat right now. You're trying to push something down, something that is unsaid. You're trying to push it down. For some of you Pisces, you will be presented with a situation where you're having a conversation with somebody and you're just at the edge of ripping somebody's head off because you really want to say something, but you know that the moment you say it the way you want to say it, it's going to be not good. So this is an indication that there might be an opportunity for you to address something that you've always kind of kept down. Except don't wait for the moment for when you blow up, because then it might not serve you as well. So this is a message of encouragement to helping you voice something that's really important to you, but something that you have been shying away from expressing. Okay? And expressing our own truth can be very difficult when we doubt who we are, when we doubt our value, when we feel inferior. Okay? So this is a positive indication that with time you become much more comfortable in voicing your truth, and that will help you feel less in fear, or because you're becoming more, connected and comfortable with who you are, your ability to express things that previously you held back, it just becomes much more part of your life. Okay? Expression is very important, obviously. Is there anything else for Pisces? Some of you are changing your responsibilities. So some things in your life are changing. The things you are responsible are changing. This could be as simple as a situation at work where your position is changing, or your position in life is changing somehow. Okay? You are still remaining your own authority, but the way you express your authority will change. So something is changing if you're Pisces, and that's a good thing. Okay? For some of you, you're taking on more responsibilities. So if you are someone who is already overburdened with responsibilities, don't take another responsibility unless you clear out of your other responsibilities, because then you become ineffective. You have too many things on the go and you can't do any of them correctly. Okay, so there's some discernment needed. And for some of you, you are ready to take on responsibilities because you're ready. You're now ready. You're more confident. You're more solid in who you are. You're ready to take on your new responsibilities, and that's a good thing. So that's very positive. That's very positive. Is there anything else that I have for Pisces? No, I think we're good to go. All right, so these were messages for the sign of water, or for the element of water. I hope this was helpful. I really liked the way this flowed. Let me know if you have any information on September in terms of planets and alignments, because it's surely very interesting energy. And I look forward to hearing your comments, to reading your comments. I read every single one. If I don't heart every single one, it's because I haven't got the chance to do it, but I read every single comment. So thank you again for being on my channel. The October messages will resume live, and I'll post a schedule very shortly. So thank you again so much, and see you soon. Bye.